My name's Phil Dvorak. I'm one of the pastors at Recovery Church. Recovery Church is a unique ministry. We focus on reaching those who are early in their journey of recovery, their journey of sobriety, their journey of faith. Basically a non-believer, a man of peace, a person of peace, if you want to look at it that way, and a Baptist minister got together, and they felt that God was telling them that I needed to plant a church. And we started meeting at that Baptist church and doing something in the evenings on a Saturday night. And it was okay, it was good. And over some time, God convicted me and said that we really needed to go to where the people were. And so we felt God leading us to move our community to downtown Lake Worth. So when Recovery Church first moved down to Lake Worth a few years ago, we actually started off, we had this little bay right here, this little spot here that now is an art studio. And immediately outgrew that spot, and God opened up the door across the alleyway here at this coffee shop. The first night, we literally had people standing outside here, outside the coffee shop, because they couldn't fit in, and out into the roadway here. People not able to come to the service because there was not enough room. It was an exciting, beautiful time. There was no AC half the time. It was a broken, beautiful mess. But every week we were seeing lives transformed. We were seeing people come to faith. We were seeing people surrender their addictions and their desires to live life on their own will and start to surrender over to Jesus. We knew we couldn't stay in that location much longer. And literally directly across the street was an old blues jazz club where we're sitting right now, the Bamboo Room. Finally, all of a sudden, God opened up the door, and we've been meeting in the Bamboo Room now for about 2 years.
My name's Junior, and I've struggled with addiction for over a decade. One day I just got to a point where, I wanted to end my life. And that's when I decided to go to treatment. See, in treatment, all they have is decaf. And a guy invited me to church, and I said, nah, God doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm too dirty, let me clean myself up, then I'll go to church, in the future. And he was just like, well, you know what, they actually have coffee at church. I'm like, real coffee? He's like, yeah. I'm like, then is this decaf stuff? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, then I'm going to church then. And when I got there, God spoke to my heart and said, you don't clean you, I clean you. And then when I got out, I started going to regular AA meetings. I lived in a recovery house, and everybody's complaining about everything. I complain about everything. But see, when I go to church, it's different, because at church, people can be going through all types of stuff, but no matter what they're going through, they'll be like, but God is good, and they'll look at the bright side instead of sitting in a room where everybody's complaining, including myself. So it wasn't until I started going to Recovery Church and I realized that, there is church and there is recovery and it's brought together. I thought that was the coolest thing. I'm like, man, that's like peanut butter and jelly being brought together. You've got Jesus and recovery all in one. That's great. As an addict, I felt like people at church would judge me. Think that they're better. You know what I mean? I was projecting my own insecurities onto them. That's a fact. But nonetheless, coming to Recovery Church, it's a place where people that struggle with addiction can feel like, you know what? I feel like I can go here. I'll go, because they ain't gonna judge me. They got the same problem I got. So I think that's the difference. It's not really the Sunday or the Wednesday. It's the fact that they feel more comfortable going there because they don't feel like they're gonna be judged. Not saying that church is actually judging them, but we project our own insecurities onto other people. A friend reminded me, they're like, the story in the Bible where the blind man sees? I'm like, yeah. It's like, imagine you were a blind man. I'm like, okay. They're like, and then God gives you your vision. I'm like, okay, now I can see. They're like, now imagine that you're around nothing but blind people, and you just walk around like, I can see, y'all, and just move around. How would you feel? I'm like, when you put it that way, I feel really selfish, because God has healed me and taught me how to see, and there's all these other blind people around me, and I'm not helping them to regain their sight. And they're like, well, what if other people, after they got sober, never came back to give? Would you ever get sober? I have a responsibility. If God has healed me of something and I know how to get healed from it, it's my duty as a Christian to help people that struggle with the same things that God has helped me overcome.
I want to think about the mission or the passion or the vision behind Recovery Church that God has unfolded. You know, the why. Why are we taking the resources, the time, the energy to do this? And for me, when I look out at the room and I know this is someone's daughter, I know this is someone's sister, someone's brother, someone's father. And I start to think about what is a soul worth? What is a life worth? We've done a Good Friday service and I had someone yell and scream, they're not going to kill him, are they? Because they had no knowledge of the story of the gospel. We have to share the gospel. And there's no better story of the gospel, there's no better example than seeing lives restored and transformed that everyone else thought were hopeless. And I see that on a regular basis. Recovery Church family, I'm excited to come to you tonight, or to have Junior come to you tonight. We were trying to figure out, do we do something different than what was already on the schedule? And we decided no. The topics that God gave us are still relevant. The video on service is what we'll be playing tonight. And I want you to hear this. I know some of you were adhering or trying to adhere to the social distancing, but we can still be a service to each other. We just have to be intentional about it. And in some ways, maybe this is even an opportunity. We can make sure we're calling each other. We can make sure we're texting each other. We can try to do things like we're going to have after the meeting here, an open share meeting. We need to be intentional. I've already heard of a few of our friends who are reaching out, who are struggling. Not as many as I thought might be possible. This is Finn. You guys say hi to Finn. But I want to encourage you guys. Reach out to each other. Hold each other accountable. Let's find a way to serve each other. Let's find a way to love on each other. So after our meeting here and after Junior shares, just like our normal meetings, we're going to have a quick break. And then we're going to be in our open share time. We're not putting the open share time out on just general social media. We're not putting the link to that. And so we're putting it in our Recovery Church Movement group. And so if you would like to do that, make sure you join the Recovery Church Movement group, and an admin will allow you to join that group, and then you'll have all the information about how to get on to our open share time. It will require a little plug-in on Zoom, and so if you go to zoom.us, you should be able to download that plug-in and then be ready for the open share after the service. And so, guys, God bless you. Stay sober. I think I'm going to see if I can make some new fashion about the coronavirus and just not shave until we're all allowed to see each other again. But all joking aside, guys, I miss you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon. God bless, and stay sober. And remember, 12 steps, one goal. God bless, guys.
I worship you. Well, hey, Recovery Church, my name is Junior. I am excited to be here today. We are still in this series called DNA, and we're talking about who we are as Recovery Church. And I just got to tell you, I love this place, Recovery Church, and I love serving at this place, Recovery Church. It's one of our values. But today, what I get to talk about is service. And here's the thing, I found so many great things on service that I literally had to copy them and so I'm gonna do some reading today, but we got some really good things on service. And one thing that I heard a long time ago that really spoke to my heart about service was this. Somebody told me, they're like, Junior, you can serve and not love, but you can't love and not serve. See, serving is a byproduct of love. So therefore, I feel that we are all called to serve. Because here's the thing, like I remember when it came to serving, I asked myself, why is serving so important? Well, I found out it's because selfishness is the root of our problem. See, I remember when I first came into this program, right? Now, anybody here who's ever been to treatment knows this. It is expensive, right? So we pay all this money to come into treatment, and they're like, okay, now I want you to serve. I said, excuse me, all this money I'm paying, y'all supposed to be serving me. That's why I came. You're supposed to serve me, help me. I'm trying to get sober. I'm not trying to be out here serving nobody. I could have served at home. I came here to get sober. But see, what I didn't realize at the time was this, is that selfishness and self-centeredness was the root of our problem. See, the big book in page 62 says this, selfishness, self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. See, page 89 of the big book says this, practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as an intensive work with other alcoholics. When it works when all other activities fail. So what it's saying is this, when you're serving, it makes you immune to the drink. Like it literally will keep you from drinking. It will help actually keep you sober. See, serving is a big deal. And the Bible says this, even Jesus in Mark 10:45, it says, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. See, Matthew 20:26 says this, but among you, it will be different. Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be a servant. That's backwards in our culture today. It's like, man, I want to be the leader. And Jesus comes in the game and says, wait a minute, if you want to lead, start serving. Wait, that doesn't even make sense. Logically, but in God's economy and in recovery, makes perfect sense. 1 Peter 4:10 and 11 says this, God has given each of you a gift from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Use them well to do what? To serve one another. See, 1 Peter 4:10 says that we have these gifts to serve one another. It says, do you have the gift of speaking? Then speak as though God himself was speaking through you. Do you have the gift of helping others? Do it with all the strength and energy that God supplies. Then everything you do will bring glory to God through Jesus Christ. All glory and power to him forever and ever. Amen. See, we were created to serve God, and God gave each one of us a gift so that we can actually serve him. So why do we serve? Well, it keeps us sober, but something else, it actually brings fulfillment to our lives. See, I want to focus on 8 benefits of serving. So the first benefit for me was this. It helps get me out of my head. Shifts my focus. See, in recovery, I'm so focused on me, and that is a dangerous place. That's when they were talking about isolation in a previous message. It's about community. Why? Because when I'm able to start focusing on you, I can stop focusing on my problems. And what that does is it gets me outside of myself. And when I'm not thinking about myself so much, it's amazing how God will handle my situation for me. Like if you ever get to a point where you get depressed, go serve. True story. So I was in a season where I was depressed. And in this season, and I was in recovery. I was in this season where I had done so many things. I'd been in recovery for several years. And then I just felt this depression. And I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe I just need to take a vacation. So I went, took a vacation, came back, still depressed. So then I went out and bought some things. And I'm like, I'll spend some money on myself. I'll feel better. Went out, did it, didn't feel better. Came back and somebody at a church said, hey man, why don't you come and serve with our first Saturday serve? It'll help you. Just come serve with us. And I said, listen, I'm depressed. I ain't got time to serve. I need to serve me. I need to do something to make me happy. So more trips, still depressed. One day I'm sitting at home on a Saturday. I started thinking, okay, they told me if I go serve, it would help. Why not? They're doing this whole garden thing in Delray Beach for this orphanage. So I'm going to go help out in the garden. So I went that day to go help out in that garden. And can I tell you, when I came back, man, joy came into my heart. The depression lifted. And joy just came into my heart and everything was different. See, serving can change the way that you feel. But benefit number 2 is this: helping others can actually help you live longer. See, I'm giving y'all some tools right now, because here's the thing. Do you believe that? Listen, when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a minute. Helping others can make you live longer. I'm actually going to read the details in these because I love this so much. When I found this, I was like, I got to do this. So helping others can help you live longer. This is it. 1, extend your lifespan. Think about regularly assisting at a soup kitchen or coaching a basketball team of a low-income high school. Research has shown that these kind of activities can improve health in ways that can lengthen your lifespan. Volunteers show an improved ability to manage stress and stave off disease, as well as reduce rates of depression and increased sense of life satisfaction when they were performed on a regular basis. This might be because volunteering alleviates loneliness and enhances our social lives, factors that can significantly affect our long-term health. Number 2, right? Altruism is contagious. It says when one person performs a good deed, it causes a chain reaction of altruistic acts. One study found that people are more likely to perform feats of generosity after observing another do the same. This side effect can ripple throughout the community, inspiring dozens of individuals to make a difference. That's what it'll do. Number 3, helping others makes us happy. I don't need to go into that one. You've already helped other people, and let me ask you, when you helped them, what did you feel? Happy. There you go. So number 4, helping others may help with chronic pain. I was skeptical of that one. Wait a minute. I got chronic pain? Helping others can help with chronic pain. Let's dig into that one. Helping others can help with chronic pain. According to one study, people who suffer from chronic pain tried working as peer volunteers. As a result, they experienced a reduction in their own symptoms. So if you got some pain, go help somebody. See what happens. Number 5, helping others lowers blood pressure. Helping others lowers blood pressure. Let's dig deeper. If you're at risk for heart problems, your doctor has probably told you to cut back on red meat or the hours at your stressful job. However, you should also consider adding something to your routine. A regular volunteer schedule. One piece of research showed that older individuals who volunteered for at least 200 hours a year decreased their risk of hypertension by a whopping 40%. This could possibly be because they were provided with more social opportunities, which help relieve loneliness and the stress that often accompanies it. Here's the thing that I'm seeing that's kind of a trend throughout this thing: loneliness. See, doing these things is getting you outside of yourself, getting you into community, and therefore it is impacting you as you're impacting other people. It says number 6, helping others promotes positive behavior in teens. According to socialists, teenagers who volunteer have actually better grades and self-image. Can I tell you that I've actually seen that in my own family? Have you guys ever seen kids or people in your family that you know that actually go out there and serve? Don't they typically tend to actually have better grades and just be in better moods? See, serving helps you. Number 7, helping others gives us a sense of purpose and satisfaction. See, part of my story is when I was younger, I just wanted to be successful. I always hoped to be successful. And the thing is that hope actually drives you and keeps something in you. That's why God tells us to have faith and to hope. But here's the thing, I was hoping for the wrong thing. I was hoping that one day I would have the car, have the money, have the stuff. And then one day I achieved it. And here I am with the stuff, the money, and all these things. And I found myself feeling depressed. Why? I don't know. I accomplished all the things I thought I wanted to accomplish. But all of a sudden I was dealing with depression. And what I realized was this: I had no purpose. See, I realized that at this point in my life with all this stuff, I woke up every single day. I dealt with my problems, dealt with other people's problems. I drank, did drugs, went to sleep. I woke up the next day and kept doing the same thing over and over again. And I told myself, if this is all there is to life, then I don't want to be here anymore. And that's when I wanted to end my life. And that's what actually got me into treatment. And see, when I came into treatment, I heard about this God, but I heard about service. And see, when I came to know God and I started to live the way that God called me to live, and I started serving others, it gave me a purpose. And see, today, every day, I wake up on purpose, for purpose. I'm no longer dealing with depression or suicidal thoughts. I actually wake up now with a purpose, knowing that God created me intentionally to do something in this world. See, there's a problem in the world today that shouldn't be here when you leave. And see, serving changed everything in my life, and I believe that serving can change everything in yours. Let me pray for us. God, I just thank you so much for the opportunity that we get to serve others. God, you created us and you gave us gifts not to glorify ourselves, but to glorify you and to help your people. Father, I just pray if anybody in this room or under the sound of my voice is skeptical about helping, because logically, God, it doesn't make sense. If I need help, why should I go help somebody else? It doesn't logically make sense. But I pray that they would believe in faith, that if they would just step out into service, that something inside of them would change. Because God, there are things that we believe, and the things that we believe are based on the ways we've been conformed, right? People will tell us, hey, listen, if you want to be happy, go get more. But Father, the way that we were conformed was wrong. You asked us to be transformed by your word. And your word says, go. For it is better to give than to receive. So Father, help us to go out there selflessly and serve others and watch you work in and through our lives. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
So right now, take a break, text some friends, give them a call, check in on each other, and then join us in our open share. If you need the information on how to get into the open share, make sure you go to the Recovery Church Movement group, join the group, and we have it there. If you have that information and you know someone who wants to join the group, text them the information. See you guys in a couple minutes. God bless. Stay sober.